Hello students, once again I welcome you all in my new video for class 10 and this is the second video from a very important life process, that is respiration, from the first chapter, life processes. In my previous video we have discussed about the definition of respiration process and its importance for life forms. As you know now that merely digestion of food is not enough to supply energy from the food, but actually it is the respiration process which is going to produce energy from the digested food. And we have also seen there the two types of respiration: aerobic in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic in the absence of oxygen. Also we have seen there the two phases in the respiration process. The first one is what? The external one known as breathing, and the internal phase that is known as cellular respiration. So in the cellular respiration we have also seen there the two steps, chemical changes. The first one is what? Glycolysis, that is common for all life forms, whether they are plants or animals or even in the microbes. The breakdown of glucose is going to occur in the cytoplasm, that is the phase, that is the part of glycolysis. And the next phase is what? Krebs cycle, that is another chemical change that can be seen in the aerobic respiration, and it is happening in the mitochondria. That's why mitochondria are also known as powerhouse for energy. So that was all from the previous one. Now today we are going to see how there is a change in the breathing mechanism. Today our topic is what? The mechanism of exchange of gases. Exchange of gases means the breathing process in life forms. Means you are observing a variety of life forms, whether plants or animals, unicellular or multicellular, means insects, amphibians, aquatic or terrestrial. So although the cellular respiration is common in all of these life forms, but since we know they are having different variety in shape, size and body organization, so how they are going to intake of oxygen and they are going to release CO2 in the atmosphere or environment. So today our topic will be based on the mechanism of breathing process in other life form. So we will start from the first one, that is what? From the plants. So do you think that plants are also going to respire in the same way as we are respiring, means the breathing and cellular respiration, or is there any difference in plants respiration? And there may be a question also that since the plants are doing photosynthesis process, so when they are going to respire, whether in daytime or in night time or throughout the day. So a lot of questions may be there in the form of queries in your mind. So we will discuss all of the things in today's video and we will get to know how the plants are going to perform their breathing process. And respiration means cellular respiration is common, as you know, in all life forms, whether they are plants or animals. So our main focus will be today only for the breathing process, means the exchange of gases. So you will be surprised to know that the plants are also going to intake oxygen gas from the external environment, and they are going to also release carbon dioxide gas as the waste material after the respiration process. But what is happening there with the plants? As you know that plants are also performing photosynthesis process during the daytime. So during the daytime, when the respiration process is occurring simultaneously with the photosynthesis process, so the waste product of respiration, that is carbon dioxide gas, they are not going to release it outside because they are going to utilize it in the photosynthesis process. But the rate of release of CO2 gas is less in comparison to the intake of CO2 gas during the process of photosynthesis. So plants are also going to absorb more carbon dioxide gas from the surrounding. So that's why during the daytime they are not going to release a single molecule of carbon dioxide gas in the environment. But during the night time, since the photosynthesis process is not going to happen there, so at that time only respiration process will take place. And this is the reason why it is advised to people not to sleep under big trees during the night time, because in the same way as we are exhaling carbon dioxide gas in the environment, plants are also going to release only CO2 gas during the night time, because at that time they are performing only respiration process. So we will see breathing process. And what do you think, students? In the lower standard, it is told to you that plants are having small pores in their leaves that are known as stomata. And the function of stomata is what? They also helps in the exchange of gases, oxygen and CO2, when these pores are going to open during the daytime. So, is it possible for huge trees to absorb oxygen only from these stomatal pores, or they are having some more respiratory organs which are going to help them to absorb more and more oxygen from the atmosphere? Actually, plants are not having any specific respiratory organ, but they are going to absorb oxygen separately from each and every part. Means the roots are going to absorb oxygen separately, the stems are going to absorb oxygen and CO2 release out separately, and the leaves also exchange of gases in the leaves takes place separately. So in the plants, all the parts of the plants are going to help in the exchange of gases separately. So in the next segment of video we will see what are the structures, means how the root, stem and leaf are going to take part in breathing separately. So let's see what are root hairs, lenticels and what are stomata. Actually, in leaves, exchange of gases takes place with the help of small pores known as stomata. These pores are surrounded by guard cells. Guard cells swell when water flows into them, thereby causing the stomatal pores to open. And when water flows out from them, they shrink to close stomatal pore. So through these pores, oxygen and carbon dioxide gases diffuse in and out from higher concentration towards the lower concentration. In stems, the exchange of gases takes place through small openings known as lenticels. Actually, lenticels develop in woody stems by secondary growth, which breaks epidermis and replaced by bark. So exchange of gases takes place through lenticels in stems. In roots, small root hairs are present which help in the exchange of gases through simple diffusion process, and these root hairs helps in the absorption of air present inside the pores in between the soil. So coming to the next topic, how the mechanism of breathing is going to take place in animals. So in unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium, you have seen the exchange of gases inside or outside of the cell takes place through cell membrane from higher concentration to lower concentration by simple diffusion process. But in some multicellular organisms like amphibians, earthworms and leeches, the exchange of gases takes place through their skin. Actually, in all these animals, blood capillaries are lined just under their moist skin, which helps in the diffusion of gases in and out. In insects, a number of small openings known as spiracles are present in the thorax, means the chest region, and abdomen, means the belly region, which allow the entry of air in tube-like structures known as trachea. The oxygen-rich air enters through spiracles and reaches up to each cell of the body through tracheal system, where diffusion of gases takes place and carbon dioxide is released out from spiracles again. In aquatic organisms, exchange of gases takes place through respiratory organs known as gills, like in fishes and prawns. There are four gills on each side of the head and separated from each other by gill slits. These gills are supplied by blood capillaries, so when water passes through gills, blood capillaries absorb dissolved oxygen in water and release CO2 gas. So, exchange of gases takes place through gills, and very frequently one question is asked, why the rate of breathing of aquatic organisms is fast as compared to the terrestrial animals? Because the amount of dissolved oxygen in water is very low as compared to the amount of oxygen present in air. So that's why the aquatic organisms breathe faster than the terrestrial animals. So moving to the next topic, that is mechanism of breathing in human beings. As you all know from your previous class knowledge, that humans have a well developed respiratory system, and the passage of air in respiratory system is known as respiratory tract, which includes nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and finally lungs. So air enters into the nasal cavity through nostrils, where dust particles are trapped by hairs inside it. Then from here air moves into the pharynx, and the walls of pharynx secrete mucus to filter any contaminant or dust particles. Then air reaches into larynx or voice box, which contains two ligamentous folds known as vocal cords. From larynx, air moves to trachea or windpipe, which divides into two tubes known as bronchi for each lung. Further, bronchi divides into many smaller thin tubules known as bronchioles, and a cluster of balloon-like structures known as alveoli are present at the end of bronchioles, where exchange of gases takes place directly from blood capillaries. So, in this way, the inhaled air is going to move inside the lungs, and from blood capillaries the oxygen is absorbed, and in the same way, from the same path, the CO2 gas will come out from the exhaled air. So that was all from the today's topic, in which we have seen the mechanism of breathing in plants, like root, stem and leaf. Parts of the plants are going to take part in breathing separately with their specific structures. Like root are going to breathe with the help of root hairs, stems are going to breathe with the help of lenticels, and leaf with the help of stomatal pore. In the same way, when we are going to see the mechanism of breathing in animals, the cell membrane is going to help in the unicellular organisms for the exchange of gases through the simple diffusion process. And when we see about the multicellular organisms, in amphibians and earthworms, their moist skin is going to help in the exchange of gases through again simple diffusion process. In insects, some air holes known as spiracles are present, but these are not the sites of exchange of gases. Actually, these structures are same like we are having nostrils in our body which are only allowing the air to enter inside the body. So spiracles are the air holes which are providing help to air enter inside the insect's body, and again through the simple diffusion process in their tracheal tubes and cells the exchange of gases is going to take place. When we are talking about aquatic living beings like fishes and prawns, gills are the sites of exchange of gases again with the simple diffusion process. And when we see the terrestrial life forms, the lungs are the places where exchange of gases is going to take place. And if we are talking about the human beings, you know, the alveoli, the small sac-like structures are the sites the exchange of gases will take place there with the help of blood capillaries. So I hope this respiration topic from the previous and this video, a lot of things will be clear to you. So we will meet in the next video. So keep studying, take care of yourself and be safe.